Hi guys, and welcome to the second part of uh, the DocuSign playlist. So in the first part, we were able to successfully set up our DocuSign application and connect it with our Bubble application. And we set up two calls, which were to get the token and to get a refresh token, and then refresh the token by using a refresh token, so we don't have any problems when our current token expires. So in this part, I am going to show you how we can send a document uh, to any email and uh, get it signed. So let's make an API call for that. So I've already set up the API call for that. So in DocuSign, whenever we are going to send any document, we send an envelope, and we don't just send the document itself. So uh, just add a new API call. Just add another API call, and I've named it send envelope. You can name it whatever you like. We will use this as an action. The data type will be JSON. We will use a post request, and this is the URL which we will hit. So uh, the creation of the URL is pretty simple. We use demo.docusign.net because this is our demo account. We specify the API, which is REST API, and the version, which is version 2.1. Then we specify accounts, and we specify our specific account through the account ID, and then followed with a / envelopes. So this account ID is going to be a URL parameter, and we're going to get this value from our apps and keys. And as you can see, this is my account ID. You can just copy it from here and paste it over here. The key should be account_ID, and this is obviously going to be private. The next thing we are going to do is we're going to add a header, which is the authorization header. We are going to have the bearer here, and we're going to leave the other part blank because we're going to use the dynamic token which we get when we refresh the token, and we're going to get that token from our database as we set it up in the first video. The body type will be JSON, and this is how the body type will look. So we have a documents object, and then we have a document base64 key, and then the value, which is obviously going to be dynamic. The only thing that you can hard code is the extension, but if you want to specify the extension as well, we can remove this PDF here and take the value from the workflows. So this is how we are going to set it up. So to send a document, we need to convert the document into base64, and then a document ID. This ID can be anything you like, but it's good if it is unique. I will show you how to set the document ID up as well, the file extension here. And uh, let's change the name of the document to be sample NDA. So we are going to be sending a sample non-disclosure agreement onto an email. The email subject, we can also have that dynamically, but I've set it up to be DocuSign testing. And here we are in the recipients object. In the recipients, we have to specify the signers. So the signer will have an email, a name, and the recipient ID. The recipient ID is for uh, our own self, so we can specify that okay, this recipient had this recipient ID, and in the end there's a status that is sent. So don't worry if these things are confusing you. The video description is going to have the body, so you can just copy it from there and specify your own key, your own values here. Um, so this is how we're going to set up the send envelope. Alright guys, so once we've set up our send envelope API call, we can initialize the call, and let me just show you how it looks. So this is the response that we get in return once we send our document. We get our envelope ID, we get its URI, we get the date, time when it was sent, and the status as well. So the envelope ID is very important because when we are going to retrieve the document, we have to first provide the envelope ID and then get that envelope, and from that envelope we can get our document. So once that is done, we will actually install a plugin which will help us convert our document into base 64. So I have already installed it. The plugin is called file URL to base 64. To install it, just go to add plugins and type base 64, and you will find it over here. Now there are others over here as well, but I have used this plugin because it works well and I've tested it as well. Uh, it is by Blur Apps, so I'll go ahead and install that. Once we've also installed the plugin, let me just go to the design section and show you how I have set things up. So the way I've set things up is I have created two repeating groups. The first one is to get signed documents, and the second one is to get signed documents, and the first one is to send the document. So the send document, I have created a database for the document that we are going to send. We will look at it shortly, but just to specify how things are going to work, uh, when we are going to upload the file, it is going to be saved in our database, and once it's in our database, we will see it in our repeating group, and in the repeating group we can either delete it or we can send it. So let me go ahead and show you the database for the application. Alright guys, so this screen might be familiar with just a new addition. The new addition being the document send table here. Previously we created a token table which contained our refresh token, the current token which our application is using, and the token expiry. So I've created a new table called document send. In this table, the fields are going to be the document name, which is the text. We have the file, which is going to be our documents file when we upload it. The document ID. This specific field is going to be a randomly generated string, and we will look at how we can do that when we go into the workflows. We have the document envelope ID. Obviously, this is important because uh, when we successfully send an envelope to a recipient, we get the document's envelope ID in return. So we save it. When we are going to retrieve it, we will use this envelope ID. And lastly, the base 64 string, which is going to be in the form of text. Because we send the documents in the form of base 64 in the envelope. So this is how the database is set up, and shortly we are going to look at the workflows, and I will explain how things are working. So before looking at the workflows, there is one more thing which I forgot to mention when I was showing you how I have set things up on the front end, and that is this small element over here. This element is the element which will be visible to us in the visual elements once we have installed the plugin. So go ahead and search for base 64, and you can see that we have file to base 64. Just drag the element and paste it anywhere on the screen, and this is how it is looking. Uh, for the appearance, we have the file URL. Now the file URL, you can leave it empty, but there is like a pesky little issue over here. So for the default value, I have given it the file uploader is value, and you can go ahead and resize it however you want. It won't be visible on the preview, but yeah, you can change the width and height of this element. So let's go ahead and go to the workflow section. So the first foremost workflow is obviously going to be getting our document from the file uploader to our document send table. So how is that being done? So in the element section, you have the inputs values changed. So what I've done is whenever this file uploader is value is changed, I am creating a new document, and the file is this file uploader's URL. The document name is this file uploader's values file name, and lastly the document ID is calculating a random string. So how can we do that? Now you can go ahead and insert dynamic data. We have the calculate formula option. Select that and go to generate a random string. The length of characters can be whatever you specify it to be. I think 5 is good enough. And use numbers, go ahead and check that. And that's how the document ID is being generated. So the next thing I've done is create a custom workflow for the conversion. Now, why have I done that? So there is a little issue with this plugin, you can say, and the issue is that whenever you are converting for the first time, when you're converting your document for the first time, the base64 value is empty. And I tried a lot of things, but I was successful only when using a custom workflow for that. So what you can do is go ahead and create a custom workflow, and in the custom workflow you can name it whatever you want. I've named it as conversion. We just need one thing and to pass into the parameter, and that is going to be the document. So I've named it as document, and the type is document send. What's happening in this workflow is we call the file to base64 action, which we can find once we have installed the plugin. So just go on and type file, and we can get the file to base64, a file to base64. So this is our element, and the URL is going to be the documents file, which we are sending to our custom workflow. And the next thing is going to next thing we are going to do is making change to the document. The document is going to be the document which we are passing, and the base64 string is going to be file to base64 is file base64. You get a lot of options here. You get the file uploaded URL, the image source, the base64 full string, but we are just going to choose the file base64. Once we have created the custom workflow, we are going to schedule it. So we schedule it after we have created it. We are going to schedule the custom workflow. The custom event is conversion, and the document is the result of step 1, and we're just delaying it for 1 second. And once that is done, we are resetting our relevant inputs. So the next workflow I'm going to explain is going to be for this delete icon. So whenever the delete icon is clicked, we are just deleting the document, the current cells document. And the last one and the most important one is the send workflow. So whenever this button send is clicked, we are making an API call. We are calling it by using our DocuSign send envelope. request. So this is our send request. So for the authorization, we have the bearer, and what we are going to do is we are going to use our current token after bearer. So after bearer, we will press space and get uh, get our token. So let's search for the token, and we are going to get the token first items current token, and that is how we are uh, you know sending our dynamic token in the authorization side. So the next thing we are going to provide is going to be the document. So that is going to be current cells document sends base 64. The document ID is going to be current cells document ID. The extension is going to be PDF. You can change it. For the recipient email, I have used my personal email, and for the name I've used my name. For the recipient ID, you can have randomly generated values like I showed you, or you can hard code it to be 1122. So for the sake of the video, I am using a fixed value, but you can change it however you like. So after this request is done, we are showing a success alert, and the heading is this and the message is this. So you can show you can show a text, or you can show an icon, or you can change something on the front end to show the user that okay, our document is sent. So once we've done all these workflows, the last thing that remains is looking at things in action. So we will shortly be doing that as well. Now that everything is set up on the workflow side, let's go ahead and preview the application. So this is how it looks. So this is how the front end of our DocuSign demo application looks like. Let's go ahead and upload a sample non-disclosure agreement. So once the sample non-disclosure agreement is uploaded, we will see it here in our table. We can delete it and we can re-upload it again, and here. So everything is working fine. The only thing that remains is sending the envelope. So once I press this button, I have opened my Gmail and I should receive the document over here with me. So let's go ahead and see if that is how it works. Let's press the send button. So once I've sent, I will get the notification in air alert, and here we are. I do have the document in my inbox. So let's review the document and let's sign it. So once you press on review document button, uh, the DocuSign application is going to start, and we'll press on continue. As you can see, we have our envelope ID here. We have already saved this envelope ID as well, so we don't have to worry about retrieving the document once we have signed it. You can read the document, and let's go and sign the document. So here is the signing part. So as you can see, we have to enter the date here and the date here as well, and then we have to sign here. So let me go ahead and drag the date signed element here and here as well. And for the signature, you can use your initials or you can use the complete signature. So for me, this is my signature, which I have configured in my DocuSign application. And you can resize the signature, and you can place it here, and we can sign the document completely. So for this part, I'm going to use my initials. Here we are. And once we are done signing the document, we can click on finish. It will ask us to save the document, save the copy of a document to send it to others, or to save it in our own DocuSign account. But for now, I am not going to do that. Once that is done, you are going to be looking at this screen. You finished signing, and that's about it. So that is how we can send documents to be signed to users' email using DocuSign on Bubble. In the last part of this video, I am going to set up a backend call. So it is going to be a backend call to receive the document once it has been signed, and we will get the signed documents here. So for the last part, our agenda is going to be getting the document once it is signed, and once the status is completed, we will get the document here, and then we can download and view it. That's all from my side for this part, and I hope you find this video useful. If you do, please click on the thumbs up button and subscribe to Chakor for more useful information that will help you on your bubble journey. Thanks, guys.